Hey everyone, Jim Gonzalez here, EDI Support LLC. It's another beautiful Wednesday here in Pennsylvania. It's actually sunny and going to be 88 degrees, which is kind of crazy, but I'm liking it. So hopefully it's nice and warm where you are in the world, and hopefully this is a topic that a lot of people want to hear about. So what we're going to talk about today is getting EDI ready from day one, a setup guide for growing businesses. So basically, if your business is growing and you're wondering about EDI, hopefully you'll find a lot of this information that I'm sharing very useful in your growing business. So a lot of times, a lot of people ask me, what are the realities of EDI onboarding for small businesses, small to medium businesses? Most of the times, the small to medium businesses don't even realize that onboarding is where things fall apart because they've never done it before. They don't know how EDI works. They don't have somebody on the team that understands or has implemented EDI. Half the time, they don't even know what EDI stands for, which is the wonderful world that I've been in for over 27 years. So EDI, API, those type of things. A lot of the times, the legacy EDI providers often assume you have somebody that's in-house, in-house IT or outside IT or an EDI specialist on the team, any of those things. So they're assuming that you're going to have the knowledge of what's really going on and what's being put in place, which really is not the case. And if you've never done EDI before, I'm not trying to scare you. You're going to want to go through and have somebody in your corner that has done it before. Somebody that can lead your hand, explain to you what the different steps are, explain to you what the processes are, explain to you those different things. Because a lot of it, when you're setting up EDI, is actually coordination and project management that's involved. A lot of it is not technical. Especially if you're using a provider should have the technical capabilities of doing the things that are needed from a technical standpoint. But you're going to need to understand the project management. The problems usually begin when there's unclear timelines. There's lack of communication or assumptions made by a particular provider or a trading partner that you're dealing with. Because the trading partner is they're assuming that you know what you're doing. They're assuming that they just essentially give you whatever the details are and you're just going to be off and running. And you're also assuming that your provider that you're dealing with knows what they're doing and is going to handle all of that for you. So, gathering of the specs, the understanding of what type of communication and protocols are being set up. If there's any type of firewall rules that are involved, any of those type of things. So also understand that you're getting signed up and you're reaching out and you're talking to these EDI providers, or you're talking to the trading partner, and the trading partner is saying, hey, we want you to be up and running in 30 days or 2 weeks or whatever it looks like. And you're like, hey, yeah, that sounds good to me. That's great. And then you talk to your provider and your provider goes, well, we can get you on the schedule in 30 days. Well, that's an issue. So you want to coordinate and you want to have conversations where before you're committing to anything, you want to know if you're able to commit to those based on what your provider is able to do. So there's a lot of things that go on there with understanding the ins and outs. So you want to make sure, and there are some common issues like delays in the mapping, manual data entry, or lack of instructions from the trading partners. Again, those trading partners are assuming you know what you are doing. Your provider is also assuming you probably have somebody to leverage and lean on for help. That can become problems and that can become issues. So you want to sit there and you want to try to figure those things out. And you also want to try to figure out how it all works together. If you're doing it and you're starting to get lost, reach out. We can typically help you. We can get you work through where those issues are and where the things lie, and maybe even kickstart you and start you from the beginning. Because it's better to backtrack and say, hey, I have to bring in a party to help me out. or, hey, I need to bring in somebody or to help me out. You want to stop it, and you want to be honest with your trading partners, honest with your providers, honest with the people that are involved, because if you're not honest, there's going to be an issue, and those issues are going to cause major problems for you. So there's the problems, the delays, all of those things that are going on. So what should EDI onboarding look like? A proper onboarding process includes a kickoff meeting with roles, responsibilities clarified, the trading partner requirements gathered early. So that's their mapping guidelines. That's how the communication is going to be. A testing plan with clear milestones. Ongoing communication from a dedicated rep. So a dedicated rep or individuals on not only your side, the trading partner side, and your actual EDI provider or who's handling your EDI. So you want to get all those people lined up and get them working and talking with each other. You know, the ideal timeline for setting up a basic trading partner onboarding is 2 to 4 weeks. It's faster when there's pre-built maps that are already in place. It's a little bit, could be a little bit longer if you're doing a first-time integration, because now integration is a whole nother aspect. You know, there's things that you have to think of when that comes about. And I typically tell people when you're setting up your first integration to your backend ERP, WMS, TMS system, whatever those systems in the business process looks like, I typically say that's a 60-day, because you got to work through dealing with your team, their team, all of those different things. So understand what that looks like. If you're just doing sole web EDI, what I call non-integrated, now 2 to 4 weeks should be obtainable, should be easy to reach, as long as everybody's on board and as long as everybody's doing what they need to do. When you're looking at, you should never feel like you're chasing your provider for updates. Your provider is a key person or individual or group that's working with you, and they're side by side, or they're leading this. That's the way it should always work. If you're managing your EDI provider instead of the other way around, something's not right. If you're constantly having to go to the provider and saying, hey, where are we at? Hey, what are the details? Hey, what's going on? That's an issue. And this is where I typically tell people project management means a lot. You know, when you're dealing in EDI setups, a lot of people think it's all technical. I typically say, listen, it's a 90-10 rule. 90% is project management, 10% of it is actually technical. Other people think of it the other way, that it's 90% technical and 10% project management. I just don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think you spend a lot more time gathering information, talking with different parties, doing all these different things, while the map creation, and when you're looking at it and you weigh the numbers, if you truly track all the time involvement, you'll see that it starts leaning more towards project management and less from the technical. Again, these are only my opinions. You know, everybody has a right to their opinions and what they're thinking. So it's not just about the platform, it's about the people. There's a human side of onboarding. And even though everybody's talking about AI and simplifying and doing all these things, as of right now, when it comes to EDI, AI can play a role in, you know, the commonly answered things, the yes, no aspect of it. Okay. It's not going to answer for the human interactions as of right now. Not saying it can't do that in the future. Not saying that I don't see that as becoming a big, you know, helper in reducing timelines and reducing things, if we can truly get to a standardization across the world when it comes to EDI or electronic data. But as of right now, it's a yes, no type aspect. It can do what I consider the more set, structured ways of answering things. So technology alone doesn't solve onboarding. People do. You need a human you can call, not just a ticketing system or an AI chatbot. You need somebody that you can email, you can reach out to, you can get them involved with working through this. Many SMBs abandon onboarding mid-process because of confusion or lack of updates. So they'll just get frustrated and they'll just be like, I'm just done. I don't want to do this anymore. We're, months into this and we haven't gotten everything done. Again, it's that planning process. It's that project management. It's that having a partner that can work you through these things. And it's going to take your hand. Good EDI onboarding, it's feeling like you have a project manager, not a vendor. A lot of people can provide you a platform and say, here you go, good luck. That's not going to work. So the people that are out there that are, feeling the frustration and feeling what you're dealing with, what are you dealing with? What have you paid for? What does that look like? If you're paying hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars and you're still having issues, that's a problem. Your EDI provider should be providing solutions, not kicking the can down the road going, hey, week after week, we don't have a fix. Week after week, we don't have something for you. That's not a good look. That's not a thing to help you. So whether you're looking at from one trading partner to 50 trading partners, handling multi-partner onboarding without chaos, what does that look like? Most SMBs start with a few trading partners, but as they grow, things spiral. If you don't take care of correcting things from that one trading partner or 5 trading partners, it's only going to become even worse when you got 50 trading partners. I've seen it numerous times. Again, a lot of people in EDI or in the retail space or healthcare space, and they're dealing with a lot of onboardings where you're having issues getting things configured and things set up. And you're like, we'll just get through this and we'll worry about it later. Yeah, that doesn't work because later just gets later and later and later and later. And you just get more frustrated, more frustrated, more frustrated, more frustrated. So think about that. So how do you want to look at it? A lot of times you're looking at it as a phase approach. You're starting with the most strategic or strictest partners, the people that you need to get on board, especially in the SMB market. You're looking at like the Amazons, the Walmarts, the heavy hitters, the people that are going to really make a good impact on you and your success. You want to use those successful maps and processes as a template for the others. I typically tell people this also. So a lot of the stuff that you're going to hear is because it's repetitive. Once you get through that first business process or that first trading partner and their first document types, you're then moving on where you have now 80% of a platform ready. Now you have to make the 20% tweaks as you add on those trading partners that are using the similar document types or using the same document types. So you're just tweaking, you're modifying, you're finding out what are the business rules, what are all those things. But the first one is the heaviest. And again, you don't want to kick issues down. You want to look at the maps, you want to look at the processes and use those as templates. Don't batch everything at once because guess what? There's going to be EDI burnout. If you're trying to do 50 trading partners in one shot, good luck. If you're trying to not tell your trading partners that you're, moving from one platform to another or anything like that looks like, good luck. It's not the way I would do it. A good provider is going to have some pushback and tell you reality and tell you, hey, I would do it this way. Now, ultimately, it's your choice, but they're supposed to give you the pitfalls and give you, hey, here's where the issues are. A good provider will also give you things to avoid your team being overwhelmed or missing deadlines. And try to be proactive in telling you, hey, I think we're going to miss these things. These are coming up. These are the issues. So it's those things, and some of the common onboarding pitfalls and how to dodge them. Really, relying on email chains. Use shared portals or dashboards instead. Assuming your ERP or accounting system will integrate smoothly. Having that SMB or subject matter expert, not SMB. Sorry, I'm getting my acronyms mixed up. So having that subject matter expert in knowing your ERP, your WMS, or your TMS, and giving you that valued input of saying, hey, you should look to do your integrations this way, because this is what I think fits best for your particular scenario. Pitfall number 3, no testing or documentation provided. That's a problem. Document what you're doing. When you're looking at other things, trading partners say, we never got your test file because there was no tracking. Did somebody look for the test file? Did somebody proactively say, hey, we're sending you a test? Or, hey, trading partner, tell me when you send a test. Just like when you move into production. Hey, we're sending our first live whatever document. Can you confirm that you received it? Those are standard things that you do and that should be a part of it. Never assume EDI trading partner is managing everything. Ask for clear responsibilities in writing. When you're looking at a good onboarding plan, there's a timeline. A bad one looks like a bunch of PDFs in your inbox. You just keep getting a bunch of things sent to your email and you're just like, hey, what's this? Hey, what's this? What's going on here? Maybe you have a tool that you use. Maybe it is a Monday.com or an Asana or whatever it is. Well, your provider should help to fit into that. Like, hey, okay, cool. This is the tool that you like to use. Let's see how we can fit into that. Let's see how we can start using that to keep things, because now they're becoming a partner of your team. They're not saying this is what you have to use. Sorry, we only use portals. Sorry, we only do this. Well, that's not a partner. So when you're looking at these things, you're looking at providers that can build maps and templates for common trading partners. You're looking for providers who can provide you a dashboard or can customize things to meet your needs, to fit into your role, because you're spending a lot of money. You're looking at things that need to be validated or checks for different data and sending of the test files. You want somebody and a platform that can be highly customizable. That helps you. You want a structured team that's helping you. If you're somebody that likes to do things on your own and set up your own maps and set up your own trading partners, well, then you need to ask, does that tool do that? Is there self-servicing in the tools that'll help to reduce the reliance on a provider? Or do you want to have an outsourced EDI department? Think about which one do you want and which one fits into your business model. A lot of SMBs don't know that you have choices. Don't listen to a provider that tells you you have to use them. I've yet to run across anybody that says you have to use a certain EDI provider, that there's no other way to set up integrations or any of that kind of stuff. So you want to look at, what does that look like? Does that provider allow APIs? Can you pull data APIs? Is there pre-built ERP connectors to cut down on the steps and the setups? Have they ever worked with that ERP, WMS, or TMS before? All of these things, ask these questions. If you're an SMB and you're struggling to get started, or you're in mid migration and it's all a mess, just reach out. We'll help you. We'll show you how to onboarding can actually feel human and fast. We've come in on projects. I can't say it enough. We've come in on projects that have been going on for years, and all of a sudden they reach out to us. We have a conversation and we're able to help them out. And we're able to go from there. And it sounds like my dogs are loving the outside and want to be outside playing in the sun. So anyways, as we gear down here, if you have any questions, again, Jim Gonzalez, EDI Support, LLC, reach out, comment, thumbs up, give us some likes, do whatever you need to do. But, we have our YouTube channel, we have LinkedIn Live, we have LinkedIn sessions, we have a Discord server, commonly on Reddit. I'm all over the place. Go to our website. We have chatbot. You're actually talking to me when you reach out on the chatbot, as long as I see it. Sometimes I get a little confused and don't see the chats going on. But anyways, I promise we'll get back to you as soon as possible. You'll see that we get back to you a lot faster than a lot of other organizations. And I strive to do that. So I wish you the best. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Again, it's a beautiful day here in in Pennsylvania, and I hope you take care. I'll see you, everybody.